back to our series on the life cycle of an early stage tax dispute. Now to part 7. The taxpayer has received their discovery assessment, but what do they do now? So just a reminder about where we're up to on the timeline. We've been dealing with an ongoing inquiry into FY17's tax return, and we've also had now a discovery assessment, a protective discovery assessment, in inverted commas, for FY16. And we've discussed previously the validity or otherwise of that assessment. But now, in the bottom right-hand side of this timeline, we need to think about what we need to do to appeal that assessment. Why do we need to appeal it? Well, the reason is that in the absence of any further steps, that discovery assessment constitutes a new standalone tax liability. So if we don't do anything else, a tax liability has crystallized and is payable. That contrasts with the inquiry, which is ongoing, where at the end of the process, HMRC, if they conclude that tax is payable, can take steps to amend a taxpayer's return. But at the moment, they haven't done that. The inquiry is just simply an ongoing investigation by HMRC, and the discussions we are having with HMRC form part of that. The discovery assessment, by contrast, has happened. It's an event. The tax liability is crystallized. And so we need to do something to try and get rid of it. At HMRC, it's worth noting, and the first tier tribunal in a case called Marsh in 2017 made this clear, even if they realize they've made a mistake in the discovery assessment, they cannot now at this point unilaterally amend it. The only way to change it is using the statutory procedures. So there's really only two options for the taxpayer. Firstly, they could just accept the liability as set out in the discovery assessment and pay the tax that is due. In some cases, that will be the right answer, but it's unlikely to be so where there is also an ongoing inquiry. And in those cases, HMRC would not expect the taxpayer to do that either, which leaves the second option, which is to challenge the discovery assessment. There's two aspects to this, which we will consider in the following parts. And that's firstly, appealing the discovery assessment. And secondly, separately and importantly, also applying to postpone the amount of tax that's due.